Good morning, Texoma. I'm Ashley Fitzwater. Thanks for joining us this morning. We're taking an inside look at City Impact, an organization that is truly changing lives right here in our community. And joining me now for the very latest on how that's taking place is Bob Johnston, the Executive Director. So good morning and thanks for being here.
Good morning, Ashley. I'm glad to be here.
Well, we are excited to learn much more about this. I know there are lots of aspects whenever it comes to City Impact, so we're going to get to all of those. We're going to make it happen in this 30 minutes. I just want to jump into the whole umbrella, I guess, of this all, City Impact, and what that is.
Well, it has three purposes. Basically, City Impact was designed and created to reach out to at-risk populations and change lives. We do that through training and equipping churches to do inner-city ministry and networking with secular and sacred organizations to meet the needs of the poor. And what we do basically with that, we engage, embrace, equip, and empower individuals to do what they're supposed to do. For us, we say we're not here to give you a handout. That's not really helping.
Right.
We see poverty as a disease, and the symptoms of that disease are varied, but the cure for that disease is not a handout, it's a hand up. We want to teach people how to live a better life, and the only way we can do that as a minister of the gospel, the only way I can see to do it, number one, is to change hearts, because until the heart is changed, there's no desire to change anything else.
There are three churches, though, that are working together to make this all possible, correct?
Absolutely. One of my favorite books in the Bible is the book of Nehemiah, and in Nehemiah, he assigned different people to the parts of the wall in Jerusalem to rebuild the wall. And I can tell you that there is no church, no organization, no institution in Wichita Falls that can completely help out Wichita Falls or change this city. It's going to take everybody working together. We all have a piece of the spiritual wall in Wichita Falls. And we work with Regeneration Church, which is off of Southwest Parkway. We work with Fountain of Living Water down on Seymour Highway. And of course, Northgate Community Church. Those are three churches we have now. We're actually interested in bringing more churches into the program because we know we've got to work together if we're going to change the city. Fact of the matter is, there's a lot of people out there that need help, and they don't have much to offer in return right now. They're diamonds in the rough. Those people out there are awesome, incredible people. They just need a hand up. They need somebody to come alongside and bring them up. And as we've done that, we've found a lot of people that are willing to help us do that.
How do you really make this come together?
Number one, we engage. We engage through relevant ministry. We're doing a lot of fun stuff, a lot of different things, passing out food and doing games and all kinds of different things. Anything we can do to get them to come so that we can speak to them, because our desire is to build a relationship. And that's the second part of that, embracing. We want to let them know that God's not mad at them, that He's madly in love with them. And we want to let them know we're not angry with them. We love them. We care about them. And we want to help them. The next thing we do is equip them. We show them out of the Bible how to change their thinking, how to change their habits, life habits that have destroyed them, addictions, pornography, drugs, alcohol, things like that, that have destroyed their lives and put them in the position that they're in. And once we've brought them back up and equipped them, then we empower them. We place them back into ministry, put them back out there, reaching out to the rest of the city. That's our goal.
Can you tell us, how is City Impact different than maybe a single church outreach?
Well, number one, a single church outreach. I tried that. A lot of people, churches make them nervous. And so we have a Friday night outreach service. We have a downtown outreach center that is not a church. It doesn't look like a church. It's not intimidating in any way, shape, or form. We have a pool table, video games, things like that. Anything to get people in the chairs, because preaching to empty seats is not fun. So we bring them in there, and not only are we not looking like a church, but the fact of the matter is we have many other churches and secular organizations, nonprofit groups that we network with. If they need food, clothing, shoes, diapers, formula, appliances, we have other organizations we network with, bus passes. We work with Interfaith Ministries, Salvation Army, Faith Mission, all kinds of different organizations. We develop ministries based on one criteria, and that is the needs of the person that is standing in front of us. Our desire, nothing more, nothing less, is to develop a relationship with that individual, because we can't help them if we don't have a relationship with them. So we just don't want to give them stuff. We want to be with them, spend time with them.
City Impact, what does it mean to you, and how do you see this growing?
City Impact means to me that it is the city of Wichita Falls. All the churches, all the nonprofits that have been working kind of solo, coming together to meet the needs of the neediest people in our community. And the way I see this growing, we've got a lot of different things in the hopper. We want to build a camp to have a farm so that inmates from coming out of prison can work there, they can live on the farm. It'll be a halfway location for them so we can bring them back into society. We want to create more nonprofit businesses. And we want to bring the city together as one to deal with our issues. We don't want to wait for the government to do what we should be doing. This is what the church should be doing. And City Impact is a group of churches doing what the church is supposed to do.
We're going to take a closer look at how those funds are raised. You talked about different things like Impact Iron. That's still to come, so don't go anywhere. Much more on City Impact is after the break. Welcome back to Inside Texoma. Once again, we are taking an inside look at City Impact. Now, we've just heard a lot, or I guess a little, about City Impact because it's really hard to get to all this. But real quickly, I want to add that you were telling me during the break that everyone involved, including yourself, this is a volunteer-based organization.
It's all volunteer. We've been at this now, well, City Impact's been in existence for over 6 years, and I've never received a salary yet. And we've been downtown the last 2 years, but we look at it as a business. Any business you get involved in, you're going to have to plow everything back into the business in the beginning. We've got a lot of things we want to do. We can't worry about salaries yet. We got to look at the vision.
And since you do have a lot that you have to do, of course, that takes money to make it happen. And one way it's funded, a major way, and this is the primary source of your income right now, correct?
It is.
And it's called Impact Iron, and that's where our next guests are joining us now. We want to welcome Mike and Debbie Owen. Thank you both for being here today.
Thank you.
And they are actually the directors of Impact Iron, so I want to jump right into this. And Debbie, I understand this was an idea that you came up with, and what is Impact Iron, and how did this idea even come to you?
Well, it was one day God was telling me that we could turn around and we could take the scrap metal that's sitting outside of people's houses, because the city's going to charge you to haul off a refrigerator or washer or dryer, whatever. The city's going to charge you. And then if you take it out to the transfer station, it's going to, they're going to sell it and they're going to get money out of it. You give it away, you know, you don't know what the people are going to do with that. So I came up with this, that we could go by and we could take the scrap metal and junk stuff that people have when they're cleaning out the garages, the yards, and everything else. We could take it, we could sell it as scrap metal, you know, we break it down so we get the most money we can. Then we give the money to City Impact to help fund it. And we've had businesses come in that have donated scrap metal. We've gone out to Kuhn Industries and we have brought in over $1,000 from metal that they have donated. And they even loaded it with a forklift for us.
If it wasn't for some of the businesses that were supporting it, it would probably have been collapsed. Hamilton, Bryan, Wichita, Lyman, they all give us their scrap, and it's great. And then there's a lot of donors that we had. A doctor that had insurance during the fire that came through, he called us and he let us clean off his whole barn, and it was just full of metal. So it was wonderful, you know, the people. We got to meet good people. And I think that's what it's all about. It's really the people. Our vision isn't there. It's just the beginning. We really want it to grow. And a lot of the people that are out of jobs and are jobless, the unwanted, you know, we want to give them an opportunity to go ahead and work. And as this grows, we want to go ahead and employ them.
Yeah. That'd be a neat thing to provide jobs through this one.
Absolutely, and that's the two goals of our nonprofit businesses are alternate streams of funding, bringing money into City Impact so we can pay our bills because inner city ministry is incredibly expensive, and number two is to provide jobs for people who don't have jobs. A lot of the people that we meet have a difficulty getting jobs, especially if you have felons coming out of prison. It's real difficult for them to find work, but this is a great way to do that. And Debbie and Mike have done a fabulous job. You know, they took a whole week of vacation. I told them I needed $1,000 to replace my air conditioner unit. They took a whole week of vacation, worked all week, gathered up $1,000 worth of metal, sold it so we could put in a new air conditioner unit.
Wow.
You know, we also use probation people to turn around. They have community service hours, and I use them on some of these big jobs to help. So they get their community service hours, and we get free labor, and we get a chance to work with them and minister with them. There's one major success story. He was an IV drug user and a drug cook, and he was on probation. He was non-compliant. He was failing his drug test, and he started helping us with the metal and the fire restoration. And he got off the drugs. He stopped cooking, and he's now served all of his community service hours. He didn't get his court costs and everything paid, so he ended up having to be redone on the probation. But now he is working 3 jobs that he can get his probation fees and his child support that he hadn't paid in years. He is now becoming a productive member of society, and he's been clean for 2 years now.
And that's the bottom line for City Impact. We talked about relationship. We developed a relationship. That relationship led him to a better life, and now his life is improved.
And you know, I love that you hear these stories, the success stories, of course, from people in our community. But Mike and Debbie, what about for you? Has this changed you in any way or touched your life in any way?
Absolutely, absolutely. It has. It taught us to work together, which we weren't very good at the start. And then especially, well, in all essence, she's my boss when we're doing this. And yeah, it taught me humility for the first time. And you know, we're really going through the little bumps and the hurdles. And yeah, we're moving ahead. And like I said, it's just the beginning, because if we can ever get this thing to really trigger off, the people of Wichita Falls was to help and kick in, we could really make, well, just what it says, an impact.
What do you need then from the community?
I need their metal support, and the people that have funding, you know, is able to fund it to where we can go ahead and kick it off, because we want to get a scrap yard and we want to get a salvage yard.
And we need a
in
trailer.
the combination. We
And a
don't even
trailer.
have a
We need a
trailer.
trailer.
We're borrowing Christmas in
Christmas
Action.
in Action has donated their trailer, loaned us their trailer every time we've had to move anything heavy. Christmas in Action. Again, all the nonprofits working together to make a difference in Wichita Falls. That's the great example of those guys working together to help each other out.
So starting small, a trailer will be a great donation.
Would be fantastic.
Yes.
Another thing would be just your metal. I mean, if people at home, we say this
Yes.
over and over, it's that time of the year, cleaning out your stuff, give them a call. The number on your screen right there, that's the number to call. Again, the things you're looking for are what? Just to kind of break it down, you said.
Metal, iron, copper, old
Aluminum.
stoves, old refrigerators, aluminum, anything that's metal. And,
Okay.
and it doesn't matter. Old cars, if they have a title,
Whatever you have that's made out of metal, we'll take it. We'll come get it. We'll go and crawl into your house and take your pipes if you want us to.
No, I don't want to go under the house.
Mike will do that.
So you're doing the work too. They'll come get it for you. Just make sure you give them a call. Again, that number right there on your screen. Well, Mike and Debbie, we appreciate what you're doing for our community. We love to hear about different things that are taking place. And we thank you for being here this morning.
Thank you for
and
having
thank
us.
you.
Absolutely. And we need to take another quick break, but we will be right back with much more City Impact. Welcome back to Inside Texoma. Once again, we are talking about City Impact and really the impact that this nonprofit organization is having on Texoma as a whole. Benjamin Gate, I understand, is part of this program that really focuses on ministering to the kids of our area. And Bethany Ferguson, you are behind that. So thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
And if you can share just a little bit about Benjamin Gate and the passion that you have towards the children of our community.
Benjamin Gate is it's a very special ministry to me. I've always loved kids, but most of all, I love kids who are in need. And the kids that we minister to are definitely in need. The ones that come to us are mostly from low socioeconomic status. Many of them are neglected, sometimes physically abused. And we feed them, we give them coats in the wintertime, we throw parties for them, we give them Easter baskets, we give them Christmas stockings at Christmas. We try to do all the things for them that sometimes their parents can't do for them. Even on Friday nights, we have what we call our family night. And that's really our outreach night. So we get a lot of our mission kids on Friday nights. And we try to make it like like I would want my kids to have a family night with me. They come in and we play board games, we serve them a meal, usually something kid-friendly like chicken nuggets or something like that. We have video games, they play dress up, they play with cars, we have a train table. They just do all kinds of things, and we sit down with them and we talk to them and we play with them, we read books with them, we do puzzles with them. And a lot of times we will have a special treat like a brownie or a cake or something, just something that they can't get any other place. And I want Benjamin Gate Ministries to be the safest, cleanest, most welcoming place that they're at all week long. And for some of these kids, the meal they get on Fridays is the only one they get all Friday. You know, so that's why it's important to me, is that it makes an impact in their lives that many times wouldn't be made because they wouldn't ever darken the door of a church because they wouldn't feel comfortable.
What are you hearing from parents whenever their kids are able to go through this and you know, get all these extra treats? Because as a parent, that's one of the things you love. You love to see your children happy and, of course, taken care of.
Most recently, I had a grandmother who said, my son came in this morning at 7 o'clock and said, Grandma, get out of bed, it's time for church. And I get that all the time. They drug me out of church. They drug me out of bed this morning to come to church because they had to go see Miss Bethany and the people at church. And they want to come on Friday nights. They're begging their parents to bring them, and their parents are telling me how blessed they are that their children are getting blessed, that they're wanting to hug us and spend time with us whenever they come in. And, you know, I had one kid that I didn't get to see him for 3 weeks because of custody issues with his family. And when he finally came in, he ran through the door, grabbed me and said, oh, Miss Bethany, I missed you so much. And to me, that makes it all worth it. Mm-hmm. If it was all just for that one child, if all the money that we spend and all the food that we give away and all the coats that we buy just got that one child to know that I loved him, that God loved him, then it's all worth it. And that's why we do what we do, is because we want our love to be representative of Jesus' love to them.
What are you needing from the community then to make this continue and grow and help more kids out there?
Funds to buy the toys that we give out, the toys that we let them play with, facility type things, you know, tables. Right now we could really use some like child-sized tables. Art supplies, you know, those are expensive and we need those because we use a lot of stuff like that. Money to buy food. We give out a meal every Friday, and that's also expensive, things like that. We reach a huge range of children. We go from 6 weeks to 10 years of age. Wow. So there's a lot of activity that we try to cover, and so yeah, definitely video games, systems, stuff for food, clothing even. I have so many kids that come in and they don't have a coat, or they don't have shorts, or they don't have tennis shoes.
What about gently used toys or games
Yes.
too? Is
Yes.
that okay? If it's stuff maybe people are, again, cleaning. And again, it's not stuff with stains. I know that's not going to really help benefit anybody, make those kids feel better about themselves.
Yes.
But
Books
if it is
too.
stuff that's in good shape,
Right, and one thing I really love to read to them, they don't get a lot of that at home sometimes. Sometimes their parents can't read. And so books, if you have some child's books that your kids are done with, or children's movies that you're done with, DVDs, those are awesome, because we do movie night too. So books, DVDs, used toys, anything that's still in good shape, baby toys, anything from babies all the way up through 10 years old. If you have it, we would love to see it and see if we can use it. And if we can't, we can give it to somebody who can, I promise you.
The books are incredibly important. You know what she mentioned. We have a lot of people that come on Friday nights. They can't read, and they've never learned to read. So education is something these kids need to be exposed to education, to reading, to learn to love to read. And if they can do that, the education itself can help get them out of the situation and circumstance they're in.
absolutely another tool, like you said, of course, to help
Yes.
these families. And volunteers, are those always needed as well?
Always.
Yes, we will do a background check on anybody who wants to work with the children, of course. But yes, if you love kids and you're passionate about our vision, then we would love to see you. Friday night helpers are very hard to come by. So if you've got a Friday free, we would love to have you. Our numbers are pretty high on Fridays, so that's a great night to just come in. It's really the best night to get to know the kids.
If you'd like to help out, the number there on your screen. You can also find more information by heading online to newschannel6now.com, where we will put up some more links and more information. So I know there's just so much that people can do, really, from your time, of course, to donations. Lots of different ways you can help back and help the youth and, of course, the families of our community. So thank you so much, Bethany, for sharing much more about Benjamin's Gate. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And we need to take another quick break, but we will be right back with another look at the transportation. Of course, how they make this all happen is coming up next on Inside Texoma. Welcome back to Inside Texoma. Once again, we are talking about city impact, but now we're going to talk about the youth and also the man behind making this, of course, also happen when it comes to the wheels behind it all, and that's, of course, David Belfeld. He is the transportation supervisor. So thank you for joining us as well this morning.
Thank you, ma'am.
When we're talking about the food deliveries and, of course, transporting all of these people, because you mentioned a lot of the target demographic here, they are poor, so they might not have that transportation to get to these events and locations. He makes it happen, right?
He makes it happen, because just getting on a bus is a long process, but we've got a van, and for the people that go to our church, transportation is tough.
Yes,
How
it
did
is.
you get involved in this? You might think, I drive a van and I help get these people around, but that's a big part of the puzzle. You were talking about that earlier. Every little piece makes it all come together.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I got started with Pastor Bob over 3 years ago. We used to work together at another church, and I was driving a van there. And when Pastor Bob moved, the Holy Spirit guided me to move with him. So that's what I did. And transportation, it's my joy to see somebody, to make a person happy, to see the smile on their face, to get them to places they need to go. And when I see that smile, I know my job was done.
How important is he to this ministry?
Enormously important. Again, 95% of the people that come to City Impact are poor, and transportation is a huge issue. We have people frequently, I call David all the time. I need a ride to the grocery store. I need a ride to the doctor. I need a ride to the emergency room. They're being transported all over town every day. We had a group went to the mall the other day. We had another group went to the car show the other day. And what we want to do, we're trying to build family, trying to build relationship. And where we build that, it's not always in a service. A lot of that happens on a bus. With those kids, with the moms, with the dads. They're talking to David. We're sharing with them. We're working inside their lives. We get to see the insides of their houses. We get to see what's going on in their life, and we get to help make those, meet those needs and make those things happen. And that is so important to this population.
Amen.
David, how are you able to do this? You know, spend every day basically transporting people. Why is that so important for you to give back to our community?
That's just what the Lord has put on my spirit to do. That's what the Lord has guided me to do all these years. Even when I was in the military, that was another job, taking care of the people and my soldiers. So that's just something the Lord always done for me. Keep me focused on making a person smile. And that's what I've been doing.
What's the best part about what you get to do every day?
The best part is to see the smiles. I got to stick with that. I don't know, it just...
I love it. No, that's great.
it just see the smile. Seeing that I make somebody happy, I have made their day. And then work with my pastor.
And I think it's contagious. I mean, you can see he obviously has a kind heart up here. It just makes you want to smile when you're around him, and I'm sure people on the bus feel the same way. Do you have any stories? I mean, have you been able to, maybe there's people on that bus who you're there ultimately to change their lives, but it's something, you hear this time and time again through ministry or nonprofits, whatever it is, you end up having your life changed as well through this.
Yes. Wow, I got so many stories, but I'm going to just keep it short and simple. We deal with a population of a lot of different people and different cultures, different understanding of the Christian world. And I got this one young lady in mind. Oh man, every day she got a situation going on in her life. And she calls me sometime 1 o'clock in the morning. Wow. Brother Dave, will you pray for me? Okay, let's pray right now because I want to go back to sleep. And we'll pray for her. I'm not going to call her name because I'm not going to put her on the spot. And I pray for her. And then she said, thank you, Brother David. Then she'll call me that morning. You know, you pray for me, I feel so, that's what my job is. So it's good to be able to work with people who understand and understand what the challenges are. And we handle it. Any challenge come my way, we take care of it.
What would you tell the people at Texoma about City Impact? Is this making a difference in the lives of people in our community?
Oh yes, making a big difference. Wow. For instance, I was in the hospital 2 weeks ago. The floor that I was on, I had all the nurses in my room just talking about the Lord, wanting to come and visit our church just because they met my pastor. They said, he's like a fun person. Oh, you just don't know. And so we got some of them coming to our church this Friday from the hospital. And my room was the hangout room for all the nurses. I hope I don't get nobody in trouble.
No, and just to let you know, actually, and not to put anybody on the spot, but suffered a heart attack, and you were just talking during the break how awesome is no damage done,
No
correct?
damage done whatsoever. No damage. Dr. Desiree is my cardiologist, and he said, man, your heart looked better now than it did in 2009.
Wow.
So
Quite a miracle.
Yes, yes, yes.
Another impact in our city, huh?
Amen.
Being
Amen.
made. Well, I know real quickly we were going to talk about the youth. Redefined Youth, it's something that's reaching out to the people in our community. You're teaming up with the YMCA. Can you briefly just share a little bit about it?
We've gone into a collaborative effort with YMCA. We have what we refer to as the Cave, which is in the basement of the downtown YMCA, and it is a collaborative effort between us and the Y to reach out to at-risk youth in our community. The Y is very concerned with the entire person, spirit, mind, and body, as we are. So what we want to do is get kids down there and minister to them, minister their hearts, their minds, their spirits, and we have the facilities of the YMCA to also come alongside and minister to that body because we want a whole Christian, a whole person. And we're in the midst. We're about 2/3 of the way done. We should be done with our facility in the next couple of months.
All right, so keep an eye out for that. And real quickly, I want to say if somebody's interested in City Impact, if they want to come out there and volunteer or just see what it's all about, there's 3 different nights you can do that. Friday night's the big night.
Friday night's the big night.
And where's that location?
It's in the Cave, downstairs, the basement of the YMCA, downtown YMCA. And every Friday night we have a service, begins at 7 o'clock, live band. We go from 7 to 8 o'clock. At 8 o'clock we feed everybody that comes.
And if they need transportation, that's available?
Yes, 940-257-1190.
Okay, and again, that's on Friday nights. Tuesday, there is a prayer and Bible study, and then Wednesdays is the youth. That's also, again, in the YMCA. Thank you, gentlemen, so much for being here this morning.
Yes.
We appreciate it. And we want to say thanks to you, Texoma, for joining us. As always, we hope you have a wonderful day. We'll see you back here next Sunday morning for another look inside Texoma.